Today is for the core principle of first generation champions and what lies at the heart of Champions Now as a project. Very special effects. The rules are shocking. They are indecent because they are naked. Just dice, just points, just distance stuff. All quantity, what is rolled, what's affected, very, very little fiction, what you might think of as plain content. And that's because you need both in role-playing, but in Champions, the special effects, that is to say, any fictional identity of anything that's said, so it's not an add-on at all, this is what we're talking about when we play, has to be introduced by you. You meaning anyone who's playing for whatever it is that they're talking about. If we're talking about characters, then we're talking about actually character creation. Let's take a look at an example character, my Miasma, and she has, in rules terms, an energy blast. This many dice, that much distance. Don't let the name Energy Blast fool you. It's just that kind of attack. Doesn't mean anything. But on the sheet, it says Vaporous Gas Jet, which is a whole different thing. Miasma, already surrounded by the billowing clouds of her hallucinatory, slightly sinister powers, goes like this, and there's this vaporous gas jet. Okay, take a look at my diagram, and you will see that what results in play is going to be affected. No surprise, it's going to be in many ways defined by the powers as rules. The rules set, as I said, this many dice, etc. And then you can follow that big arrow down, and you will see that we use the special effects as how we describe it. Those arrows are very much like you will find in most role-playing games. To find out any kind of substantive quality to what's happening, you look at those rules, and if you want to dress it up a little, skin it up in modern terms, you go down that other arrow and just see how much piffle we want to trowel on top of it. This is by far the default mode of role-playing design. But look at that red arrow where the special effects are hardened. They become rules. They become what's happening in the fiction. They become just as important to the effects as anything coming down that vertical arrow. They are also unconstructed, opportunistic, positive or negative, whatever. Completely circumstantial. So all kinds of things come to mind. And the important thing is not to pre-plan these, not to write them down, not to know, not to pre-commit. For example, let's say there are targets at the end of Miasma's mesmeric range for this blast, and she blasts them, and you know what? It is a vaporous gas jet, and she was shooting that guy in the middle. Why not let it spread a little toward the end there, being a vaporous gas jet? No, catch them all. Bonus. Or, for example, up against the lashing winds and howling storm effects of this or that circumstance or opponent, Miasma finds that her vaporous gas jet is perhaps a bit less effective in some way in these circumstances, what with all the cross currents of the vapors and winds and all that. Again, are these on the sheet? Are they accounted for in any rules terms? Are they there? Are they real game effects? What's going on here? And the answer is absolutely. They are rules. They happen. Wait. When? Whenever. Do they have to? No. I mean, if it's a naked energy blast, it can just be a naked energy blast. I mean, that's cool. When do we do that? When do we know? When do we wait? Well, does it spread or not? I mean, chaos. And I say peace. This is okay. There are some best practices to keep it from being dreadful, so you don't have to be in this defensive crouch of ye old GMs screwing your energy blast whenever because they say, oh, it doesn't work so well this time. No need to go turning toward behaviors like that and fear them. Let's talk about how well this is done. This is done well in lots of ways. First way is to have the casual kind of skin description going on all the time with little effects for fun so that everybody's kind of used to thinking of it as the vaporous gas jet. Another is to default to a minor positive thing, nothing wrong with a +1 here and there, nothing wrong with, a little edge case of spreading a little bit for effect or something to do with a confined space concentrating the effect. And who knows? Just let the odd bonus toss its way in there. And then the odd negative effect cropping up is not perceived as this big imposition, but properly as nothing more nor less than the same thing as all those little positive ones. With all this kind of thing happening all at once and recognizing that that red arrow is an important component of the rules, that red arrow doesn't go the other way. You do not need a written on the sheet modification of the power, specifically an advantage or a limitation, in order to define it as anything. You want to wear powered armor? Oh, I have to take it as a focus then. No, you don't. Powered armor can just be a special effect and all those powers can be bought naked. Same thing for any other advantage or limitation. They are not requirements for the power to be a certain way. They are guarantees of the power being that certain way, where the default is for it to be opportunistic in the moment and whenever. You want your fireballs to be explosive? Just call them exploding fireballs. Doesn't mean they'll be explosive all the time. In fact, most of the time they won't, but sometimes they will. There you go. If you want them to be explosive all the time, that's when you get the advantage. If you want certain limitations, be careful of what those limitations say. We shall proceed on that point another time. But the whole point being, you do not have to take a given advantage or limitation in order for the power to be named a certain way and for that name to have the ongoing default standard opportunistic minor modifications of its effects at any point during play. So there's our principle. Love the special effects. Don't have a power without them because then it's unusable in play. It's just a naked rule. And enjoy them. Find out how they work. When they don't work, whatever. Be gentle the whole time. Not to be entitled about it. Oh, it says there are exploding fireballs on there, so give me my explosion. If it's not an advantage, it's not guaranteed. Similarly, if it's not a limitation, that little disadvantage isn't guaranteed either. Pops up once in a while. Enjoy it. Leave it at that. I recommend loving the special effects, recognizing that they are the defaults, that advantages and limitations are the specified edge case. See what happens.